Today is Saturday, March 9th, 2019. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for episode 3 of Survivor, Edge of Extinction.
Edge of Extinction.
How come you don't dance like that on the dance floor when you just sitting here? You got all these moves you're doing here on the love seat. But
I'm enjoying that island pan flute there.
You would never do any
Abyss.
of that if you were actually on the dance floor.
Well, it's different when you got to add the lower part of your body. That's a whole different piece.
Well, you're moving it too, just a little bit.
Whole different piece to take control of.
So
if I can just hand dance a little on the love seat,
hand and head bobbing, and
yeah.
Okay.
Which I think they tell you not to do so much if you're a guy. But anyway, the music moved me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We both do that and enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoying it. Hey, speaking of things we enjoy, it's time for the listener feedback show, for the show that we enjoy more than any other Survivor. And that's where we hand the reins over to the other super fans. And now it's your turn to provide your insights and predictions, observations, different slants from your particular walk in life for how you perceived what we just partook last Wednesday night.
Partook?
I don't know. It's just, the words are flowing. It's like a river.
Something's flowing for sure.
Oh, do we need to cover anything before we dig in? How many folks do we have?
25.
25, another blockbuster listener feedback show. Anything you need to say?
No, let's just hear what they have to say.
Dig in, all right. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston, and I gotta let out a great big woo! Holy cow, a blind side, and I did not see Chris going. Wow. I went from being the predictable easy voting Wendy to going between Wentworth and Chris was blindsided. But the big question is, what on earth happened that we didn't get to see? Did Rick Devens say something to David Wright that convinced him to vote out Chris, or was it War Dog? Something was said that we didn't get to see. I have to check out the extra clips, and Chris goes to the Edge of Extinction, which I wasn't surprised about. And then how about Keith and Reem on Extinction? So Keith doesn't quit, Reem doesn't quit, but they have to climb a steep staircase, whatever that is there, to find a minimum bag of rice. And they're going to have to do it constantly. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them quit, but it might be different with Chris there, who I'm sure maybe will lift some spirit over there. We'll see. And I want to say what awful gameplay I thought from Wendy. Even I felt terrible for her ankle, and also by Victoria and Ron Clark. What were those two thinking about, especially Victoria? She didn't talk in strategy, and Joe was right there, barely feet, like barely within a couple of feet of them in the water. Terrible gameplay by Victoria. I love her strategy, but you always look before you leap, Victoria. Stacy, you would call that probably a tactical error, because she was a little bit, she had a little lack of self-awareness there, of not being quiet enough, simply. So that's going to bite her and Ron, I think, for sure. So we'll see. And Wendy, I think, needs this merge more, or swap rather, more than anyone, between the thing that happened with the chickens, her injured ankle, but which I guess she was fine. She did pretty good in that swimming challenge, but she's digging her own grave, it seems. I think she has to align with whoever's on the bottom on the other team, who she swapped with. So we'll see how that is. But Wentworth again escapes. We'll see. We'll see. Her and Lauren are being quite a team. And it looks like, again, Lauren didn't tell anyone about her idol. And look, we didn't get to see Ron use his advantage, so he's going to have to burn it in the fire then. We'll see if another advantage comes into play. All right, guys. Well, I love this episode. I'm going to check out the extra clips to see what was said with David and Rick Devens to see how this vote came about. But it was a great episode. Looking forward to the tribe swap. Take care. Woo.
Whoa. All right, Pete.
Yeah, actually, Ron has no intention of burning that thing. He's got ideas on how he can use it down the road.
I'm sure Pete's checked that out by now, but there's an excellent extra clip with Ron where he's talking about how, I guess, his approach to the game and how he's looking at leveraging that going forward, even though he didn't end up using it.
It was in one of the extra clips, too, where David actually said to Wendy, do you want to win? She said, yeah, she's here to win. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's totally confused.
Not evident by your actions, yeah. Yep, definitely.
Yep, that was not a given.
Definitely some good extra clips.
I'm with Pete. It still upsets me. How can Ron and Victoria... I mean, it's not like there was a lot of trees around and they couldn't see somebody coming.
It was the beach.
It was wide open.
Yeah.
How can you not see Joe right there?
Wasn't it Victoria's lacking self-awareness, it's situational awareness? She wasn't aware of who was near her.
Either.
Her willingness and confidence to speak that way made her brazen, and she didn't even bother to check. Although, again, I go back to her bio where she says she's inspired by her guinea pig, and I think that's pretty much all you need to know about Victoria going forward. I think she's here to mess up other people's games. She's not here to win. So that's my assessment of Victoria at this stage in the game. She's lucked into an alliance of 6, a majority, but all that could change at a moment's notice. Good deal. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Stacy. This is Shea. Another great episode. Really surprised. I can't stress enough after last season, I didn't know if this one had a chance of holding up, but so far, so good. I'm really glad Keith decided to stay for no other reason than I'm curious to see if he can last more than a day. I think Reem is pretending to be the reluctant mother type. I think she actually is really glad he showed up and has a natural instinct for doting on people, but she just has like this rough exterior for whatever reason that she feels like she's got to put on. The challenges were amazing. I don't know what's going on, but this season they seem to be really detailed and lots of fun, and I'm totally digging it. And speaking of challenge, did I miss it when Wendy got hurt, or was it not shown? I felt so bad for her because when they were doing her one-on-one confessional or whatever, and she was showing her ankle and the bruise, I think it was Laurel and Kelly that walked up to her and very, very briefly let her know if she needed anything to give them a shout, and then they scooted off just as quick as they could to look at those chickens. So I don't know how sincere they were and all of that, but it was like, hi, sorry about your ankle, see ya. And speaking of the chickens, I really can't believe Wendy stole the flint. It was kind of like a Russell Hantz move. I thought it was pretty funny. And I couldn't decide if I was proud at her or angry at her. Oh, and I can't remember what challenge it was. The one where they had to put 3 people in a boat and pull it. In that challenge, the 2 people that sat out were Victoria and Julie. And as soon as they made that decision, I was so confused because they are both so thin and wayfish. Why on earth would you not put them in the boat? But it wasn't for me to decide, so oh well. I really hated to see Chris go. I really liked him, and I'm pretty sure he was about the strongest person on his tribe, so I think they've just given up on winning. It's all strategy now. I'm really liking, I think his name is Rick. I don't know. Nobody's really jumped out at me for somebody to root for, but I'm really liking him for some reason. Can't wait to hear what everybody has to say. And again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this show. I love it. I look forward to it every week. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Shea. We look forward to hearing your voice, too. So let's see if we can answer some of those. Do you get to see Wendy get hurt? They do It's really quick, and it's where she's taking apart the wheelbarrow.
She's yanking the wheel out.
Or she's lifting the barrow, bottom part of the barrow up away from the wheel. And you can see she says, "Oh," or something to that. And they may even have it blanked out. There might have been an expletive there. Anyway, I think that's the moment it happens. So go back and watch the reward challenge, and I do believe you can see it, but it's only on the screen for like maybe a second and a half. So certainly easy to miss.
Second and a half. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? You busted chops, huh? All right. And why would you not put Julie and Victoria in the boat? Because then Julie and Victoria would have had to be the puzzle solvers. And that's about all you know about that. That's all you need to know, rather, is that you probably don't want them working on a puzzle together. And if you're not clear on how to think about Wendy, just think about someone taking food off your plate when you're hungry. I think you'll have your answer exactly how to react to Wendy. Good deal. Thanks, Shea. Yeah. Next up, we got an email from Jesse in Canada. Hello, long-time listener, second-time emailer, enterer. Good to have you back, Jesse. Here we go. Edge of Extinction, Episode 3. Keith meets Reem on Extinction Island, and she tells him she hasn't eaten for days, which really is Keith's fault. He was the one who threw her under the bus. He tells her he's sorry, and she takes it pretty well. They get their message in a bottle and head out for hidden treasure. Reem demonstrates her breathing techniques, and after much searching, what do they find? A handful of rice. They say a true kung fu master only needs a single grain of rice a month for sustenance, so Reem and Keith should be just fine. Cut to the reward challenge, and Manu pulls off their first win. Props Manu. They earn their chickens, and all it cost them was Wendy's ankle. At camp, Wendy discusses her plan to release the chickens with Rick Devens Rick, whatever name he's choosing to go by, and old Tricky Rick lets her know he is not with it. He wants them chickens. On to the immunity challenge. Even with Wendy's ankle, she still proves to be a very strong swimmer. Spoilers, Manu loses, and it's David's fault. It almost looked like he was just screwing any piece onto the wheel he could find. It did, didn't it? That's rough to come so far just to lose to a guy like Dancing Ron and Friends. That's good. Manu is defeated and heads back to camp. Wendy's time to shine. I thought she would be sent to Extinction Island and become the villain there, but appears she's getting an early start when she steals the flint. Ain't nobody eating chicken. No chicken. Actually, I'm pretty sure they did eat chicken because they got an ember and had the fire. So even though she stole the flint, they didn't show them eating chicken. They did have fire. Honestly, her lie to David was so on point, I almost believed her. Chris had it, she says, in the most convincing manner. Ingenious, evil, and perhaps a little psychotic. But Wendy gets her way, much like all good villains. And like a good liar, she includes a grain of truth in her cover story, which makes it all the more believable. David lets Chris know his Wentworth plan and explicitly tells him not to tell War Dog. Chris then proceeds to shoot himself in the foot and pays the ultimate price when War Dog tells Wentworth. Honestly, I didn't give War Dog enough credit in this game, probably because I hate his voice and his face. But he is a definite player. Chris is sent packing but makes the easy choice to stay in the game. The preview for next week has me reeling in excitement that Wendy's going from small-time Flint thief to full-on chicken savior supervillain. Most awkward part of the episode when Victoria and Ron were talking about Joe and he was sitting right there. Best part of the episode, Ron never used his advantage. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that means it fizzles out. Saddest part of the episode, I never got to see Keith cry because Reem was there to comfort him. He'll find a reason, I'm sure. One final thought. Imagine Chris actually thought he lost the flint. And when Keith and Reem ask him what happened, he's just like, lost the flint while pouting. That'd be sweet. Thank you for all you do, and I look forward to the other listeners' feedback. All right, good job, Jesse. Way to knock it out of the park on your second time at bat.
One thing that came out in one of the secret videos was that Ron said he could have given it to someone on the other tribe.
Yeah, that was surprising us.
For the last night. If he had wanted to reach out and try to save somebody, he could have used it that way.
Yeah.
And I don't think we were aware of that.
Nope. No, we didn't read all the details on the little sheet there.
But again, like we said, he has plans to use it to...
He's just going to tear it off where it says it expires, which is at the very bottom, conveniently, of the note, and he'll be good to go.
And he can make somebody think they found an idol, or he can
talks about all different
use it to
options.
barter with, to gain something else, give them the idol.
Yep, and remember where we include the link to where you can find those videos normally on YouTube. That's in the show notes. You just have to click the read more when you go to the webpage, getsfp.com. Next up, we got a call from Sophie.
Hi, Jen and Stacey and Survivor fans. This was such a good episode, best so far, and they just keep getting better. I'm never thrilled at the beginning episodes, but I always get so much more excited as people get voted off. Closer to the merge, yes, I can't wait. I'm excited to go to 3. Hopefully we'll start seeing the returning players picked off, because 4 people could easily vote 1 out. And I'm not thrilled with the returning ones. Yeah, David is doing the best, I think, and cheering for him the most. I had Keith going last week, and I didn't get to call in. I just left it to the last minute, and then I got too nervous. But there was a great response, and it's lovely to hear new people. This week I had Chris safe because I've been really enjoying him. I think War Dog was just upset that Chris was doing so well in challenges. I just can't believe he went with Kelly. I've gone off Kelly since reading that she does witchcraft. Hoping that's not real, but you know, she can do what she wants. Just not enjoying watching her. I had Julie going home this week. I just thought oldest person in the team, and I thought she sat out, but it was Aubrey who sat out of the challenge. I think that reward should have been stolen by Ron. Is it Ron? And if it were me, I would have just chosen the comfort. I need pillows and blankets. I need to be warm at night. Even if it's hot, I just need to be covered. And Wendy, I'm just loving her. If I were on the island, I would act exactly like her. I would be saving those chickens, hiding the magnesium. I would be, causing a bit of chaos. I know you would hate me for it, but even if I ate meat, I would not be eating any animals that were provided. If we had to kill pigs or whatever, I just wouldn't be a part of it, because they become like your pets. Even the chickens, if you let them out, they would know where they could get food around the humans, and they would keep coming, and they'd keep you company. I mean, I've had friends who've had chickens and ducks and birds as pets, and the amount of meat that comes off one little chicken is just tiny. I mean, maybe keep them for the eggs, but no. I would have definitely chosen comfort. So, Wendy, I love you. Well done. Keep doing what you're doing. Sorry, I know you'd hate me. That's about it, though. I am happy Chris has the drive to come back, and he's obviously the best contestant so far on Extinction, Edge of Extinction 2 comeback. Hopefully he doesn't get exhausted by climbing up those stairs, as I'm sure Reem and Keith will make him do it. But yes, it's getting fantastic, and I loved your replay, your commentary. So I love your dynamic between you two. Well done. And I'm just so happy. You sound so happy married. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Now, who knew Sophie, with that sweet little voice, was such a chaotic, evil villain lurking under there? My goodness, she's siding with Wendy.
She's not just a little mischievous imp. I see. She's evil. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna team up with Wendy there to set the chickens free and steal the flint. You're definitely in villain territory. Just a different flavor of villains. They come in all flavors. All right, thanks, Sophie. We enjoyed that. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacey and all my Survivor friends. So, I didn't see this coming. I was totally blindsided with Chris getting voted out, and I lost a save point. But it was really good fun in the end. So they started off with Edge of Extinction Island, and we had sail mail now. So it's no longer tree mail, it's sail mail. I thought that was really fun, where they had to walk all the way up and get a bit of rice. I really don't see what Reem was complaining about. She's got the whole day to walk up there and help her. Maybe get her a little bit more stronger for the challenges. Now, I want to talk about Wendy and the chickens and the flint. I just think she's going into self-destruct mode. But, when we were watching that and she was talking about, I should let the chickens out, straight away, my son, who's like a casual viewer, he was watching and he said, oh, she's angling to get the Sia reward. And I thought, yeah, that could be right, that she will save the chickens and then Sia will come and give her some money. I really worry about these people who eat meat all the time and suddenly when they see a chicken is going to be slaughtered, they don't want to eat, which is fine. You don't eat, but let the others eat. Look, I'm a vegetarian. No, I correct myself. I'm a pescatarian. However, I cook and clean and meat for my family because they eat. I don't eat it, but I don't stop them from eating it. Well, that's my two-bit. War dog. I don't know whether that was a smart move to get rid of Chris because Chris was a good ally. Chris was actually telling him, what was going on, consulting with him, and then to get rid of the war dog. I don't think it was a good move. Chris is on the war path, and when he comes back, he'll be after war dog. Yes, both the challenges were great. I really enjoyed that. And I was so happy that Aubrey, my USB, found the idol. And she got a more positive edit this time, so that was great. And no, I'm not warming towards Victoria. Less said the better about her. She has no idea what's going on. Right now, I have no idea who's going next because I don't even know who is going to be in which tribe. So I'll wait till the last day to just pluck a name from the thin air. So, waiting to hear what everybody else has to say. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for a wonderful podcast. Bye.
Thanks, Rashmi. As for who's going to go next, I think you just have to fall back to the most likely suspects, right? The weak ones that have been identified all along.
Or eeny, meeny, miny.
You can go that way too. One potato, two potato. But definitely Wendy stands out. Julie stands out. Possibly Victoria. And then you've got the returnees. If they end up disadvantaged in any way, then they're also likely suspects to go. At least that cuts it in half.
If you say so.
All right, let's check in with Sandi and see how things are going.
Hey guys, this is Sandi from Atlanta. I've been watching this episode and this season, and I really was like, ugh, Edge of Extinction. Seriously, we've been there, done that. But I love it. I love it, love it, love it. If they could strip these people naked and keep one hand tied behind their back and they had to dig for rice, I'd be happy. Any person who loves Survivor and is dying to get back on will do this. They're suffering just as much as the other teams are, maybe even more. You've got to show, you got to put out some blood to get back into the game. And I just applaud them for the thought of this. I'm disappointed in Reem that she didn't do more exploring. Obviously not a Survivor fan. And then when they were looking for the stairs, I thought, oh, she's just exhausted. She doesn't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, if I haven't eaten for 3 days, it's going to be tough for me to go up those stairs. It's going to be tough for me not to say, you go today, I'll go tomorrow. I love that idea, Joanne. We both had that. But then, of course, there's got to be something else on that island. And it just frustrates me that she just blew 3 days. What did she think? She was going to sit there on that island for 3 days? Okay, enough. Got to talk about the reward challenge. I was so happy to see them win. Then, what's-her-name getting hurt was just the cherry on the cake because I had her going home. I just couldn't think of anybody else. So, but then she starts talking about the chickens, and I'm like, what is your freaking problem? I would have kicked her off right there. In fact, I would probably stood on her hurt leg and said, you really need to go home. I mean, when you take food out of my belly after I've been starving, no, you're out of here. So why they're keeping her around, I don't know. I think the whole Chris debacle is just a huge mistake. And nobody was talking about them being a swap. Even if they rearranged to 2 tribes or 3 tribes, I don't know. Last thing I'm going to say is somebody tell Joe to shave that stupid mustache. I keep thinking he's going to take somebody and tie him up on railroad tracks. All right, now I'm showing my age. Okay, guys, have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Oh, so good to have your voice back on the show, Sandi. And in the extra videos, there are people talking about the potential for a swap coming. They were anticipating it for sure. I'm pretty sure Ron mentioned that in his, but I think some of the others did too. Next up, we got an email from Barbara in Long Island.
I hear lots of people wonder why War Dog focused on Chris for elimination, especially since Chris was so good in tribal challenges. Maybe that's why. Chris would be an individual immunity challenger come the merge. Also, would you talk a little bit on how to donate money to your podcast? I've enjoyed you guys for so many years, and while I'm not rich, I'd love to help. Thanks so much. All right, and thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know what there is to say other than when you go to our website at getsfp.com, you can click on any of the...
click on Read More to see the full show notes.
Yeah, any of the Read Mores.
And then down at the bottom of the show notes, there's a little donate link, and that'll take you to a page. And it talks about different ways of donating, because I wanted to make sure to emphasize that it wasn't... We really appreciate that you're thinking about giving some money to help us with the cost of the show. That's fantastic. But I didn't want people to think that was the only way to donate. As a matter of fact, what you just did, being a part of the listener feedback show, is a fantastic way to give back to the show. And so that it talks about different ideas there and, maybe writing a review. But there's also a link to our PayPal account, and that's how you can donate. That's the easy way.
Yeah, and the where you click on donate is in red. So
yeah, it's just down there at the bottom. There used to be a way to have it in the sidebar. I'll try to figure out how to make that more prominent, because we've had a couple requests because it's not obvious how to do that. And we're super thankful when people do that.
Yeah.
We deeply appreciate it. It's very humbling to have someone do that for you. And it, we definitely have costs associated with the show. So we put all those funds to good use, but I'll figure out a way to make it a little more prominent and easy to find on the webpage.
Yeah, when they changed our...
When they forced us to move to this different format and all that, I lost that ability. It wasn't as clear how to do that. What's that?
I'm just laughing at you finishing my sentences.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We really are an old married couple.
Yes, we are. Oh, good stuff. Thanks, Barbara. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
Hi, everyone. This is Kim from North Carolina, calling in with Week 3 feedback. I told Cameron that next time on Survivor was a scam trying to trick us into thinking that Aubrey was going. However, I'm also the lady who thought about putting Reem for Week 1, Keith for Week 2, and somehow in my head I thought I had made the pick and submitted when all I really did was think about it. So if I had been on that island for 3 days, I think I would have explored more than they showed us that Reem explored. And I kept wondering, was the bottle with her name on it there, and she never saw it? And then when Keith showed up, they were there together. So I was wondering what happened to David on the immunity challenge, because my understanding is that he has a book where he studies the puzzles and everything. Wendy is looking a little cuckoo to me. So I had two thoughts about War Dog. On the one hand, watch out. He's looking a little bit like a mastermind in the sense that he's controlling who everybody is voting on. But on the other hand, he isn't acting strategically. Chris came up to him and was very open to him, yet War Dog says, I trust Wentworth more than I trust Chris. And also, War Dog has, I think, the wrong idea that Chris wants Wentworth to go out when the person behind it all is David. So on the one hand, War Dog looks like he's on it, but he also doesn't seem to really be looking at the big picture. So I don't know what's going to happen next time. I have no idea who I'm going to pick, but I'm enjoying the season so far. Thanks for everything you do. Bye.
Thank you, Kim. I like that analysis. I like looking under that first layer. There's definitely some pros and cons with how he's managing his game. I guess we've been calling him by the wrong name, too. Evidently, he goes by the War Dog, but we're all War Dog. which we're not too keen on to begin with.
All right, Dan it is.
Yeah, Dan. Good deal. Thanks, Kim. Next up, we got a call from Alex.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Alex from Philly calling about this week's episode. I just finished it. I thought it felt really short this week. I don't know if that was because we didn't see any of the actual tribes before the challenge. Obviously, instead, we got Extinction Island, which I think is pretty interesting. It's cool to see them do some old school survival things. I like that a lot. Obviously, the huge topic of this week is how wild Wendy is. Oh my gosh, it's just so crazy. I feel like she's the new Philip Shepherd. It's very entertaining. I don't know how she thinks this is going to help her win Survivor, but hey, I mean, if they keep her around after all this, kudos to her, I guess. She was a pretty good liar. I was impressed by that, and I'm really curious to see how this goes for her, especially after we see that next week she's going to release the chickens. I mean, I really don't see where this is going to get her, but that's all right. I think David was really lucky that Chris took the fall for the whole Wentworth plan. I mean, poor Chris just kind of got caught in the crossfire and trusted Dan too much. That's all right, I guess. Yeah, my notes again say, oh my god, free the chickens. Just crazy. It's the craziest thing to lose Survivor over. I'm ready for the switch up next week. I don't generally love when they go to the 3 teams, but I think it'll be interesting, and I'm curious to see how it goes. Have a great week, everybody.
You can really see in the extra video with Chris, there's one where he's talking about how bad he feels about, and you got a little taste of that during the episode, I think, or during what he said at Tribal Council, about how it's just crushing him that he's going to have to vote out another tribe member, someone that he's gotten so close to. And he goes on and on about that and how it's really just working him over. And
well, they didn't have any trouble voting you out there, Chris.
No, but you can definitely see the depth of the hurt that must have inflicted on him, I think, after watching that extra video.
Oh, I think he's going to come back and want blood.
Yeah, for sure. Good deal. Thanks, Alex. Good job with that. Next up, we got a call from Nicola-n-Jackson.
Hello, everyone. This is Nicola-n-Jackson. It's Saturday morning. We're getting ready to go to a basketball game next, last one of the season.
Yep.
But we just got done watching Survivor. What do you think of this week's episode?
Awesome. It was awesome with the swing.
The slingshot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I love that part because the blue team won this time.
They did.
Only one time.
Only one time. They've only won once the whole thing.
The yellow team won a lot of times.
They did.
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No.
Well, they're just better at challenges than the blue team, although the blue team did really well on the reward challenge, but they still didn't win the immunity challenge, right?
Yeah, they did it. Because I would be in that, and I would win.
You would win?
Yeah. All of the challenges.
Oh.
Every day.
Okay. And you were a little worried about your girl Kelly, weren't you?
Yeah.
At the tribal council?
Yeah. This is fun today.
So you were worried. What did you say about War Dog?
I do not like War Dog.
You don't like War Dog. He's growing on me. I'm not a fan of Tony, and he reminds me, obviously, of Tony just by looking at him, but I think he's playing the game a lot less frenetically, and I like his confessionals a lot better.
Yeah, that's right. Immunity idol. Chickens. A lot of chickens. Gazillion chickens.
Gazillion chickens. I think they only had 5. Yeah. Oh, what was it you said about Jeff Snuffer?
Yeah, looks like a chicken foot.
And he's like, why has he got that chicken foot snuffing out the torches?
That's awful. Yeah. Why does a chicken foot have to be a smoker?
A snuffer?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do not like snuffers.
What about stuff on the island where they had to climb all that way just to get a little bit of rice?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would not do that. Yeah.
You would try to catch some fish instead?
Yeah, catch some fish.
That was a long walk just to get a little bit of rice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too long out.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. Can't wait to see what happens when the tribes split up. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the returning players. Might actually give Wentworth and them more of a chance to play. And, yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's all we need to do.
That's all we need to do. All right, thanks, Joanna, Stacy.
Today.
We're going to go play some basketball.
Some fun, and I can see the big hoops now.
Okay.
At school, big school. I'm in big school. I'm in 5 years old. I'm 6.
Yep, you're going to be sick soon. All right, guys, thanks for all you do. We'll talk to you later. Say bye, Jackson.
Bye.
That's awesome. Good job, Nicola. Good job, Jackson. I definitely enjoy you guys. I'm glad you enjoy Survivor so much together. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California. Jack says, I think quite a few of us knew that Keith would end up on Extinction Island. Yeah, we definitely did, given that they spoiled it in the previews. If you saw those, you were pretty sure of it. It was interesting to see more of what that island looked like, and it seems like the struggle out there is real with the little amount of rice that we got to see. We are 3 for 3 on Extinction Island, and so I feel like eventually all the contestants will end up out there. Is it just me, or did others have some type of Thai vibes about Wendy and what to do with the chickens? Yeah, definitely. I think her decision to release them would come back to hurt her at some point, and I think it would be the same night after Tribal that she would go ahead and release them. Possibly. I did not see Chris being the one voted out at all, and so that was a blindside to me, and I have no idea what to expect next. Yeah, we're all in that same boat, I think, Jack.
Absolutely.
All right, good to hear from you. Good job, buddy. Next up, we got a call from Drew's crew.
Hey, everyone, this is Drew and Charlie and friends, and Adelaide and not friends, but items from around the house, and Milo. Everyone is here. Mommy is having a rest. I just went for a run. We're watching cartoons. We're going to do a quick feedback for this week of Survivor. First things first, I did remember to put in my picks, but
Yay.
I picked a bunch of young pretties to be safe because I'll usually do that early on in the season. And then they voted out Chris, so what gives? I had the returning players safe for 2 weeks in a row, and I should have just let it roll over one more time. And I'm also ticked because I think I had Wendy to go again because I just thought that story's going to keep going. But so anyway, we watched the challenges just now. What did you think, bud? Did you like watching the challenges? You don't know. The answer is yes. You always do. It wasn't a giant snake this week, but still fun. Did you like it, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did you like about it? They were swimming. Oh, Charlie, I know the part you liked. You liked the part where they put together the wheel, right? And then they had this...
I like when they went all the way down to the water.
Oh, when they jumped and they went all the way down in the water?
Yeah.
Then and they were building a boat. You were pretty excited about that, right? Yeah. Anyway, we had fun time watching the challenges. I thought it was a good episode. I wasn't great. I wasn't riveted. I was kind of distracted during it. So that happens sometimes. That's okay. I'm still looking forward to what happens next. I don't know. I've never been a huge David fan, but I'm not a huge Kelly fan either. So if they just take each other out, that'd be fine. But of course, now there's a merge. Everything's going to be different. When I think it was a challenge or something, I said, I swear Aubrey is wearing the same shirt she wore last time. And then they showed a flashback while she was looking for the... Oh, it was while she was looking for the idol. And then they showed a flashback. And there it was, right? I mean, it was the same shirt. So Julie was like, yeah, you called it. Speaking of Aubrey, let's give her the winner of the week for having her hero moment. So that was kind of nice. A little bit of recovery, a little bit of redemption for her. Whatever. It's Aubrey, and that's fine. I don't think she's going to win, but I don't dislike her. Loser of the week is Wendy because, okay, the Kimmy thing was annoying back in the day. She was pretty frustrating with how insistent she was about the vegetarian thing, whatever. But Wendy is not even a vegetarian. I mean, everyone's talking about this, so I'm not going to go on. Everyone knows it's frustrating. I was totally with everyone who was saying she's a hypocrite and just, I hope they eat him while she's still there. I hope they find him. I hope they kill him. I hope they eat him right in front of her and that she gets to witness that because I think it'll be good for her. All right, that's it for us. We are going to have a good Saturday. Hey, Adelaide, what day is tomorrow? Is tomorrow a special day?
Yeah.
Why? What's special about it? Is it someone's birthday tomorrow?
Yeah, me.
Your birthday tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah, you remember. How old are you going to be? 4. Yep, you're getting so big. I remember when she was born and put her in my Survivor buff in the hospital, and now you're 4 years old, babe. All right, that's all for us. Everyone have a great weekend. Charlie, can you say bye?
Bye.
My goodness, there's some monsters over here. Charlie just went to get his leopard friend. Maybe that... Oh, Milo, too. And Waffles is here, too. Oh, we're just a busy place. Okay, talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend. Bye.
All right.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Daddy had a birthday in March, too. So, happy birthday, Drew.
Happy birthday.
All us Pisces.
Yeah. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, this is Parker from Indiana, and that was an interesting episode. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't bad, but, the vote was just so dumb. Why aren't you guys just doing what you should have done a while ago and just No, every vote has made sense, like Reem, Keith, but not Chris. Just get off Wendy. Then you have a strong tribe that's cohesive for the most part. Then you can start making your big moves and stuff, but you can make them against the other tribe now because of the tribe swap, right? Like, just hold your horses. It's day 8. You don't need to vote Kelly Wentworth off on day 8. You don't need to vote Chris off on day 8. Just, now that Chris is on extinction, they better watch out. If Reem comes back, I think she'll be the Lil. But if Chris comes back, I think he's going to be a Burton. So that's going to be fun. And I think Chris is going to become a Survivor villain. That's going to be interesting. The challenge was good. Manu blew it at the puzzle, but they won the reward. Then you got Wendy with the chickens. That was annoying. Kimmy's argument in Australia was better than this because Kimmy actually was a vegetarian. But this is just dumb. I bet she's just going for the Sia money. That's so dumb. Just vote Wendy off, please. Even at the trap swap, just vote her off. I like how Rick's like, we're losers, man. In my opinion, I like them better than Kama Tribe, but that's just because we've seen more of them. And also because, they don't do dumb stuff like talk about people they're targeting right in front of the people they're targeting. That was really dumb. Lots of dumb stuff in this episode, but Aubrey got an idol. It was amazing. Wentworth and David, get along. David, it's a one-way rivalry. Like, Wentworth doesn't even care about getting out David. But David's like, murder at the stake. What the heck, David? It's day 9. Wow. Yep. So those are my thoughts. Man, weird episode. Can't wait till next time. Tribe swap. Wendy goes crazy. And this is the Wendy I was talking about in preseason. That I was afraid we would see. Then she came off lovable. Now she's starting to come off annoying. So that's fun. All right. I think that's all I got. I will see you guys next time.
Well, and when we were watching, thanks, Parker. Mm-hmm. When we were watching the extra clips, every time we see Wendy, it's like still no ticks, no nothing.
Right.
I don't know if they're, I don't understand that so much.
If they're choosing not to show them or if she's not being affected by them. Yeah, it is. I guess it's a little odd, but okay, whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And there's definitely, you can see in one of the extra videos, they're not being kind to her. They know she took the flint. They know that she's,
Yeah, Wentworth didn't buy it for a second.
Yeah, and they're making fun of her, and it's really got David kind of out of sorts because he feels like they're picking on her. But then she kind of put herself in the situation and scenario, too.
That was because they were mocking her, and War Dog was limping around and making fun of the way she was walking. Mm-hmm. That's what upset David.
Yep, among other things. Yep, good deal. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got an email from LeAnn in California.
Hello, all. Just some quick notes. First, Wendy is dead to me. What she's doing isn't funny or strategic, just mean and stupid. Unfortunately, I think she'll stay in the game due to the swap, or she'll go to the edge of extinction and thrive there to come back. Yuck. Second, the editors were unfair this episode with their blindsiding.
They were unfair, huh?
With their blindsiding of the viewers with this completely unpredictable vote off of Chris. The fact that no one in JSFL had him going, at least on purpose, says it all. It's just no fun unless you can at least make a guess at who might be going next. As for next week, it's really hard to tell what's going to happen because of the swap. I'm just glad Aubrey has a chance to stay in the game at least a little longer. My USB Gavin has been a bit purple lately, which concerns me a bit, but being ignored by the editors means he's safe for now, I think. I hope. Happy Survivor watching, everyone. All right. Thanks, LeAnn.
Yeah, I don't get too worried at this stage about not seeing a lot because the winner often comes from the middle, and that's more emphasized as we get closer to the merge. The shuffle takes us into, it's like throwing the game in a different gear, and it's certainly going to be interesting to see how the Yellow Tribe fares when they have to start all over again, and that can be a big test for some folks. Thanks, LeAnn. Next up, we got a call from Cameron.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. This is Cameron from North Carolina calling in with the Week 3 listeners' feedback. So in JSFL, I'm sorry, but these vote-off picks are just getting really hard. I got all my safe points pretty easily. I said Gavin, Eric, David, and Lauren would be safe. But I said Aubrey would be gone this week. I feel like that was a pretty common pick. And I don't think I ever would have said Chris was going to go. So Keith goes to the Edge of Extinction. That was really no surprise. I knew he wouldn't give up yet without knowing where he was going. I'm glad production gave them rice on the Edge of Extinction. Even the outcasts of Pearl Islands were given rations, so no one really died of starvation. So there was a nice win on Manu's reward. In that instant, I really thought Ron was going to steal the reward, though. I mean, he seemed pretty safe, so I didn't think he needed immunity. So I really thought he would have taken the chickens just then. So I'm sorry Wendy's hurt, but do not start with that anti-chicken killing. I mean, people who are really anti-chicken killing, they make out to be the most annoying, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but they do. So I am sympathetic to Joe when Ron and Victoria wouldn't even respond to him on the beach. Will this be another Redemption Island where Kama acts as Zapatera and Manu acts as Ometepe? Will Joe and Aubrey be Russell and taken out too early? And will David and Kelly be the Boston Robs and make it to the end? So, Wendy isn't a vegan. I was really on board with War Dog in that argument they had. I mean, she's just hypocritical in every fashion. She basically just wants to go out and cause chaos if all her plan is to release the chickens and not even have a motivation behind it. Manu started really good in the immunity challenge, so I'm kind of bummed that they couldn't get the puzzle together and finally avoid tribal. But man, screw Wendy when she took the flint. At that point in the episode, I was really starting to compare her to Brendan Hance or Jatia in terms of how scummy she's acting. Yeah. So after the vote, ultimately, I'm thinking War Dog and Lauren are really starting to pave a yellow brick road for Wentworth to the final tribal council. I mean, if the final tribal council is War Dog, Lauren, and Wentworth, I'm sorry, but as history shows, Wentworth will probably take it, unless she acts sort of like Coach did in South Pacific and starts cheating everyone out of the game. I really don't see her losing in that scenario. So next time on Survivor, here's a little quote from Jonathan Penner from Cook Islands. I can forgive her, but I don't have to, because she screwed with my chickens. So that was back when Flicka lost a couple chickens back on their tribe way back in the day. And I'm thinking Wendy's about to be in that same boat. No one's going to like her for releasing those chickens. She's lucky they're getting a swap right now, because if they weren't, she would easily be the next to go from Manu. So I think everyone on Kama is going to be safe with the swap, so long as they keep the majority in all the tribes. All right, Joanna, Stacy. All right, Survivor fans. I hope to hear some great feedback this week, and I will see you guys all next week.
All right. I love those references. That was great. Good job, Cameron.
I think that what Wendy is really trying to do is throw everyone off balance. I think that's a real goal. It's just to keep everybody off balance. Though I don't know how she expects not to be voted out, though she hasn't been.
But that's not on her. Nothing she's done has really kept her from being voted out. It's just they've decided to choose other targets.
She's such an easy target.
That's not to her credit. Yeah.
They're not taking her out.
Right. And she's working on an excellent GOAT status were she to get dragged along, essentially, at this point. Yeah. It just seems like a horrible strategy.
Which is funny, because that's the thing War Dog didn't want to happen.
Yep. And all the references to the sea of money, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Wendy was angling for something like that at this point.
I didn't even remember that.
All right, good deal. Thanks, Cameron. Next up, got a call from David.
Hey, Joe and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. Well, Audrey pulled it off. And, even with the edit last week of her striking out with her teammates, I just kept thinking that she's going to go farther than they were indicating. Just because she's played this game twice before, she's gone far in the games both times. Whether she'll win or not, I don't know. But when she started searching for the idol and they showed the montage of her previous searches, I was right on. You go, girl, you find it. And she did. I am so thrilled and excited that she's still in the game. As for Invisible Joe, I have no idea what kind of a game he's playing, but right now he seems to be more under the radar than anything else, and maybe that'll work for him at least longer than it has in his wins in the past have done. Now, over on Manu, the incredibly shrinking team, what a surprise. Anyway, I think David's obsession with getting Kelly out, it's going to come back and bite him in karma. I just think he's trying too hard. He's not playing the end game. Why is he worrying about her now? As far as what happened with Chris, I think Chris, that was his fault. Anything that happened, David said to him, if you do talk about this to other teammates, it'll all blow up, and he did just that. And going to War Dog, I'm surprised at how quickly War Dog switched gears, but I think Chris was not playing as good a game as he thought he was. He said everybody likes him. Well, I don't think they trusted him as much as he thought they did, and now he's gone. And over on Exile Island, I'm not sure how they're going to determine who's going to come back. I was thinking maybe it'll be a challenge between the castaways, and I wondered if the other players will be spectators to this competition, or whether in the end it'll be a surprise to all of them. But I'm interested in seeing what will happen. Anyway, I'm ready for the swap, and I'm interested in hearing what the other Survivor fans have to say. So I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, David.
Another thing I found interesting when we were watching the extra clips is Chris is obsessing over beating Joe.
Yeah.
It's not the Kama tribe. It's Joe. He's got to beat Joe. He's got to get Joe. And then everything Joe.
There's this awesome contrast and he's just ecstatic that they won in the reward challenge. And then, like David was talking about with Joe, there's an extra video with Joe, and he said, I'm putting out 80% effort. And I'm stepping back.
We just cracked up.
Yeah, so, Chris
Chris
finally beat Joe, but it's Joe at,
at
nowhere,
80%.
Yeah, at nowhere near the top of his game. And Chris was celebrating that win, and Joe's like, no, I got to play like David was talking about. I got to be under the radar. I got to tone my game down, so I'll take the first stage of this challenge. And because he said, I could have knocked those targets down. Just like boom, 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 and it would have been over.
So he didn't beat Joe at all. He beat Gavin.
Yeah, or Julia.
But in his mind, he beat
Joe.
He beat Joe.
Yeah, because it's a win, and that's a win over Joe. Yeah, those videos, and that was like the second one, I think.
Yeah. That was just cracking us up. Oh my gosh, when he watches that, he's
gonna be so annoyed.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, what? I gave everything I had. And Joe's holding back. Joe's like, no, I'm not going to turn it on until later.
Though Chris has been phenomenal. You have to give him that. He's been really great in the physical challenges.
The only reason I'm mildly interested in Edge of Extinction now is because he's there. I've loved hearing from other folks and how much they're enjoying it. It's a great balance to where I am, because for me it's just a distraction. Don't care about Reem, don't care about Keith, not surprised that she hasn't checked things out and all that. But now with Chris there, now it's officially become interesting. I thought it would be Joe that was there, but with Chris, it's piqued my interest, I guess.
Well, if he and Joe really end up there, it probably would be, if it's a physical challenge, it would be
and that is
more through those
that
two.
Is our understanding, David, is that it's a challenge that they'll go through at the merge, and then a challenge at Final Five to bring whoever's at Edge of Extinction back. Don't know the details on how that's going to go down.
Did you see something that said Final Five?
Yeah.
I just saw late in the game. I didn't know Final Five.
That's my understanding. I guess it could be wrong, or I could be remembering it wrong.
No, I just didn't see it.
In any case, I don't know that they're going to have an audience, so that would certainly be interesting. I thought maybe what they would do is they would vote someone out, and then they would then bring whoever won the challenge back and have them join them after that tribal council.
Well, or let them watch tribal council. Let them wonder why that person's sitting over there watching tribal council.
Yeah, and Probst would completely ignore it, not say anything about it.
Because they should be given some dynamic on what's going on in the tribe before they come back into it.
Yeah.
So that would be even more awesome, that they get to just sit over there and they're all like,
observe. Yeah.
Why is he there? Or why is she there? Or whoever.
Or what if they had decided all along to have him there, but they're just in the dark, and you can tell that there's someone sitting over there, but you can't tell who it is. Like, you can't even see a silhouette to know. It's just that there's people there to cause an uneasiness.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd just soon it not be there so we could learn more about the tribes, but this is what they've chosen. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how Chris fares there. Thanks, David. Great call. Next up, we got a call from Slappy.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Slappy McGee. I'm calling you from Long Island this week, and I'll be heading up to Boston next week and then on to Maine. So I'll be calling you probably from Maine next week. If I can. Hopefully I will. So, a few words about this episode. Oh, boy. Those are my words. Oh, boy. So, yeah, I had Chris safe in that Survivor Fantasy League, and I also voted Aubrey to go out. But, of course, that did not work out. Before I start that, I just want to say there are 2 words that strike fear into my heart. 2 words that send chills up my spine. And those 2 words are banjo recital. Just so you know. Oh, my goodness. Banjo recital. All right, Stacy. You're ahead of me right now. Don't worry. I'm going to come for you. I'm coming for you. First of all, the preview for this week's episode spoiled the whole Keith taking the torch thing because they showed him. They showed him walking away with the torch in the preview. So that was spoiled. I watched that preview, and I'm like, what? There he is walking across the beach. You see his back, but, you know, it's him. It's his same walk, and he's got a torch in his hand. Oh, so he took the torch. Well, that's stupid. I think that's horrible editing or horrible preview putting together, whatever you want to call it. So I was kind of disappointed by that. And then Wendy kind of disappointed me a little bit this episode, too, because she was like, why should the chickens be penalized? What do the chickens do? I mean, idiot, they're chickens. What they do, they're chickens. They crap out eggs, and, you know, and then we eat them. Whoever said it she's a lovable, emotional nut. I think that was a pretty good description of Wendy. And Aubrey finding the idol, I mean, to me that was so just, and people probably like it, but I don't know. She seems far too desperate. She was far too desperate in that interview, and she seems playing this game just in a desperate manner. I don't think she'll ever win. I just don't see how it'll happen. And then Chris, he's just an idiot, too. Idiot is my word this week. David, though, I mean, he told Chris what not to do. He said, don't go tell anybody, because as soon as you tell anybody, you tell War Dog, it's going to be over. And sure enough, guess what happened? And done. Brilliant. David is brilliant. And they're all idiots that they let Wentworth keep going. I mean, they just made the tribe weaker by getting rid of Chris. And you see Wentworth's game face? Her game face was, I mean, come on. Her game face was on point. So they're idiots for keeping her. I mean, she's going to beat them all if they just do that. The tribe is much weaker. And where are you guys getting all the inside information from? What's going on? I mean, are you guys watching extra things that I can't get to? Is there like some sort of subscription thing that I can't get to? I don't know what's going on. All right, I got to go. That's my time. Banjo recital. That's all I'm saying. Banjo recital. All right. Slappy out.
Yep, banjo recital boy is smoking you in the side challenge, Slappy. So there you go. Live with that.
Yeah, and again, you can go watch those videos.
Yeah, so the videos are typically made available on the CBS All Access, and that does cost extra, but there is someone who makes those available on a YouTube channel. So you can see them if you want. You just have to seek them out.
And do you have a link to that, or just?
It's always in the show notes. Yeah,
okay.
It's always there. Click on Read More for an episode at the webpage, and then you can find a link to the videos for that YouTube channel. So they're there for now. All right, thanks, Slappy. Oh, and I don't know if you got something against the banjo or whatnot, but I thought of a banjo song that I thought you might enjoy. It's called In Hell, I'll Be in Good Company, and that's by the Dead South. You might want to check that out. That's an excellent song with a banjo in it.
Don't know anything about
I think he was really focused on the banjo recital part of it, and I agree 100%. That's something for banjo students and loved ones of banjo students. That's not something you would necessarily subject anyone else to. But yeah, I was playing a song called Kitchen Girl, and that's a really beautiful song in what they call mountain minor tuning. And I played my crock pot slow cooker version of that song, which usually goes at quite a good pace. All right. Thanks, Slappy. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose in Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, your recap put an image in my head that I can't get out. I know that's not what it means, but when I heard clawhammer banjo, my brain painted a picture of Stacy in a studded leather jacket playing sick lead banjo riffs in a heavy metal band. Rock on, Stacy. Okay. All right, so I'll give you another... So you probably said that in jest, but here's another banjo song reference actually too. There's a group called Steven Seagulls, and they play Thunderstruck by AC/DC. They do a lot of songs, but Thunderstruck by AC/DC and The Trooper by Iron Maiden. Definitely check those out. I mean, that's definitely metal banjo, and they've got a great banjo player. They got it's a great band actually. The guy on the accordion has a remarkable stank face that's worth watching just for that.
Face?
Yeah, he's got the mean stank face on when he's jamming the accordion on these heavy metal rock songs. All right, more from Josh. My other observations include, the challenge of Extinction Island is to survive Reem's non-stop mothering. Reem's bottle probably sat there for several days while she sulked in the lean-to. I agree 100% with that. Reem thinks a daily climb for rice is too much. She's obviously never seen Robinson Crusoe, where Yosemite Sam had to battle a shark to earn his daily coconut. First, Chris nailed targets in the reward challenge. Next, he was the target. I figured out Wendy's reason for being on the show. She's a mactor who wants to star in the live-action remake of Chicken Run. Who knew that Joe possessed mad ninja stealth skills? Joey amazing indeed. Yeah, he just snuck up on him and disguised himself as a starfish. They never knew he was there. Kudos to Aubrey for finding the idol. She'll probably need it. Am I the only one who's disappointed that Ron's Advantage menu expired without a word? That's what that extra video's for, I think. That's the one reconciliation that we get with that. Note to War Dog, pointing out someone's hypocrisy doesn't usually win them over to your cause. David, Lauren, and Wentworth got confused. They're supposed to be playing Survivor, not Wheel of Misfortune. Kudos to the medical staff. Thanks to their tape job, Wendy went from immobile to running off with the Flint. Well, yeah, she made an immediate recovery, didn't she? War Dog's strategy seems to be a dog's approach to life. If you can't eat it or play with it, piddle on it or bury it. Oh, that's good. Dan chose a good nickname. People are more likely to cave in to War Dog's wishes than they would be to peace puppies. Manu says they gained strategic strength from losing. How'd that work out for the Harlem Globetrotter foes, the Washington Generals? Oh, next time Wendy auditions for Chicken Run and it's time to drop your buffs, will the three-way split get any of the returnees deeper in the game? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Your recuperation must be going well, because that was excellent. Thank you, sir. Next up, we got a call from KimJ. I just want to say before I forget, KimJ sent us an awesome picture of her daughter Parvati in her Manu buff, and it was gorgeous. Thanks for sharing that, KimJ. That's another way you can give back too.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, this is KimJ from Nashville. Wanted to share a quick story from this week. I'm a yoga instructor, and on Monday, one of my students came to class with a Ron Clark Academy sweatshirt on. So, of course, I had to ask her about it after class and tell her that I was a huge fan of the show. And she could not say enough good things about Ron. Her and another one of my yoga students went to his academy 3 months ago, and they say he's just like he is on the show in real life, just super positive, like always doing chants and cheers, and that's what he has done with his students, and that she's been a fan of his since before he was on Oprah, and it's really a role model for her, and she's just really rooting for him. And so I just thought I would share that. My USB Julia is still MIA, and she took to Twitter this week to complain about her edit, even kind of saying that I guess she felt like she was entitled to confessionals because she's one of only 2 black castaways this season. So I'm just having some buyer's remorse still with Julia. It's only 3 episodes in. Like, I don't know what people think they're going to accomplish by getting on social media and complaining about things. Obviously, what she has said has not been relevant to the show, and most of the Kama tribe really hasn't had much of a presence so far. They haven't been a tribal.
Yep.
I am not an emotional person when it comes to Survivor. I can't say that I can remember an episode where I have ever cried, but when Aubrey found the idol this week, I just cried right along with her. And when I rewatched the episode, I cried again. I don't know if it's because I'm rooting for Aubrey more than I thought I was, or because her back was up against the wall and she really needed that idol, but it just really touched me to see all of that perseverance and her searching for idols in the previous season just finally pay off. So, hey, both idols this season have been found by women, so how awesome is that? So, on to the decision this week to get rid of Chris. I definitely think War Dog made a huge mistake here. I get it that he wants to use Kelly as a shield, but he's lost a huge ally in Chris, and he's really hitched his wagon to Kelly. And I thought he handled Chris so well last week. This week, just really not so much. I just don't think it was a good decision. Chris obviously made mistakes too, because I think that if he was going to confide in War Dog, he needed to tell him the entire truth, and that David approached him, not try to approach War Dog like that was his idea. And obviously he clearly misjudged his relationship with War Dog too. But I am interested to see him on Extinction Island because, like you guys said, he's the first real contender. So look forward to hearing what everybody else said.
Excellent. Thanks, KimJ. That extra video with Ron is definitely worth checking out too, and there was some more with Aubrey, and thank you for sharing that. That was great to hear that moved you so much, and seeing that emotional output from Aubrey, contrasting that with what we got from Gabby last season, it's so different to me, and how I received it too, and it certainly moved me too. Like at first I thought she was a little playing it up for the camera, but then you realize how genuine it is, and I can see why.
That's it. It was genuine emotion.
Well, and Gabby's probably was too, but it seemed to be coming always from this confused place, and the relief that Aubrey was having there, like KimJ was talking about, just, I don't know, way more authentic somehow.
Well, and the extra clip on Ron, because I've not been a big fan of Ron. Mm-hmm. I haven't tried to hide that, but that made me like him better, to listen to him talk and to know that he really is strategizing and playing the game, and he's really thinking things through, and so that made me like him better. That one clip.
I agree. Likewise for me too, and it actually even caused me, like I didn't have any concern or care for him other than wondering what he might do with that advantage. But now, after hearing all the things that he said in that extra clip, I'm worried that
as a player.
See him as a player, but now I'm actually invested in him a little bit because I like him more, and I'm worried about him because he sounds like he's in danger of burning out. I don't know if he can sustain everything that he's talking about that he's going through the whole game.
Yeah, because he said his mind won't shut off. He's just thinking Survivor 24/7, and other people are looking around and, apparently not thinking about it, but he can't seem to do that. So we'll see.
Excellent. Thanks, KimJ. Good job. Next up, got a call from Justin.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Justin from Michigan. I wrote in for the first time last week and figured I'd give the voicemail a try. Hope this gets to you. I'm calling in Saturday morning, so I'm not sure if it'll get on the show or not. But I just had a couple thoughts. First thought, I think War Dog needs to go. If I was a castaway, I'd be going for him. He called the shots at the last two tribal councils now, and if I was Wentworth, that's who I would be going for. I think Devins is playing a really good game. I think everybody's approaching him, and he's just rolling with it. I mean, he even has that relationship with Wendy. I mean, he could use that later on if she sticks around. So he's making a lot of friends, and so far no enemies. So he's in a good position. He can cut David loose, really, I think, at any time if he wanted to. So Chris going home, or going to Extinction Island, rather, he has probably, like you said, the best chance of getting off of Extinction Island, getting back in the game. And if he does, he could be dangerous, because if he manages to get to the end, that's a good resume booster. I know it's a little early to talk about the end, but a player that can go to Extinction Island, survive the elements, get back in the game, and make it to the final three, that would be a story. and I think he could potentially win if he would get that far. But yeah, I think War Dog has to go, or he's just going to continue to be the lead dog and continue to live up to his name if they let him. So that's my take. Thanks a lot for listening. Look forward to hearing everybody's feedback. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, good job. Excellent, Justin. If you get your call in Saturday before noon Pacific, generally you'll be in the show. We have some technical glitches every once in a while,
which is 3 p.m. Eastern time.
And we might miss one for that reason, but generally we'll get you in if you're here to talk about how, enjoying Survivor and what you perceived and saw. Thanks, Justin. Good job, buddy. Next up, got a call from Jill.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill from the Outback here. It's my first feedback for the season. I always enjoy listening to your shows and to the feedback shows as well. They really make me think about the contestants. I'm in two minds about the Edge of Extinction Island. I'm really interested to see how it's going to work, and I wanted nothing more than Kelly Wentworth to go and join Reem there. That would have been hilarious. But it is a little bit unfair that they get voted out and they get another chance. While it's going to be fun to see a player come back into the game, it will be really unfair if they go on to win it. And as the contestants have said, it is a little bit unfair for the returning players that, have already had chances at this game. It's a bit unfair on the new contestants that, these people have got that much more experience than them. I think I might have broken a record then by saying unfair so many times. Sorry about that, gang. I'm over Wendy. She can get voted out and go straight back to Ponderosa as far as I'm concerned. Taking the Flint and trying to be mischievous was just annoying. And if the trailer for next week is how it is, then taking the chicken and releasing it into the jungle, the chicken's not going to last very long there. David is the one return player that I hope does really well. It's funny, my attitude towards all the returning players, like all of them except for David, I've liked them at the start, and the more I see them, the less I like them. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they're sort of getting a little bit arrogant and, they've done this before, so they know what's going on and it comes through. I'm still getting to know the newbie players on the yellow team. I do like Julie Rosenberg, though. She seems like fun. I follow her on Instagram, and, yeah, she's always good for a laugh by the sounds of it, but we just don't see that much of them on the actual show yet. 3 teams next week. That's going to be interesting with the swap. This might be a little bit controversial, but I'm a little bit getting sick of tribal councils because they don't want to give out any information, so they just waffle on without really saying anything. It's almost becoming a little bit of a waste of time for me, and it just takes so long to get through it and talk to everybody and finally get to vote somebody off. I just wish that they'd either make it shorter and show us more of the strategy through the days, or they'd be a little bit more honest in what they say, although that would create all other sorts of problems, wouldn't it? Anyway, I fumbled my way through this enough. Thanks, Joanne and Stacey, for the podcast, and happy days, everyone. Bye.
All right, so great to have you back and hear your voice again, Jill.
I realized I was smiling as soon as she started talking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's Jill.
Miss Jill's voice, yep. Good deal. Good job. Next up, we got an email from James in South Carolina.
Hey, guys. Boy, is Survivor crazy. There is so much going on that I really wish there were about 20 more hours of footage. I've got so many questions. Does Wentworth suspect David? Does anyone suspect David? Last week I said they ignored him while he whispered poison in their ears. I wonder, is it that they are ignoring him or that they don't consider it a priority?
Definitely the latter.
Either way, protecting a goat seems way too early in the game, especially one whose vegetarian diet is apparently made up of Fruit Loops. Is everyone aware of how much of a complete nut job Wendy is? Or do they think she's just a little bit off? Was Wendy recruited? Do they actually suspect she took the Flint and that either David is covering for her or can't recognize it?
Extra clip answers all that.
It seems pretty obvious that she took it, and saying she didn't seems dangerous. How obvious was it really, though? Maybe what's happening and what the edit is showing are really far apart. This is why I need more footage. And what the heck is going on at the other camp? I don't really know because we aren't spending time over there. Surely Joe knows they were talking about him. How is he playing it? Is he slow playing, keeping cool about it, or does he mention it? If I'm in the 6 and I find out 1 or 2 of them are so bad at the game that they talk about the split right in front of another player, I think I'm concerned.
That's a good point.
We're really getting a lot of Aubrey. That smells like early out or sitting there at final tribal.
Well, you kind of covered all bases there, didn't you?
Yeah. The formula seems pretty clear after all this time. And now we're heading into a tribe swap. Do Joe and Aubrey leverage the information that they are on the wrong side of the numbers in their original tribe and use it for new bonds? Does the majority, 6, on that tribe do something knuckleheaded and vote a number out?
Nah, my bet's there.
So many questions and not enough Survivor to answer it all. I know we'll eventually know some, but I'm too old to wait. Ha ha. Joanne and Stacy, I want to mention that your Georgia roots are really coming out in your recent podcasts.
Okay.
It makes me smile every time I hear you drop a hard G or an R, or when your pitch rises a little. Nothing wrong with it. It just gives me the giggles when you do it. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Neither.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah, those folks from South Carolina.
I know.
They're always imagining
them
things.
dang northerners.
Yep.
I appreciate all y'all do to make Survivor better. Thanks, guys. P.S. I watch Big Brother, and 2 things have struck me as Big Brother-ish. On the recent Celebrity Big Brother, 2 house guests were discussing their alliance, and there was a third person in the room that they were unaware of, even though they were sitting right out in the open. The Joe thing this episode reminded me of that. Also, Keith's over-the-top reaction to his Edge of Extinction decision reminded me of every contestant on Big Brother who knows the camera's on them and reacts that way. I'm certain Keith probably wanted to be on Big Brother more than Survivor. And also, I really wish we had live feeds of Survivor like Big Brother. If only they could figure out a way to play the raw footage synced to the season.
That's definitely a lot of us would watch that, huh?
That's true. All right, thanks, James.
I'll overlook that you enjoy that dumpster fire of a show. My wife seems to like it too.
Yeah, I watch it.
I still think kindly of James, even though he watches it.
Okay.
Next up, we got a call from Jody, another person who sent us pictures of the beautiful beach that she's talking about. And
oh, yeah.
I like seeing your truck, too. That was a mean-looking truck.
That was awesome.
Hey, Survivor family, it's Jody in Brisbane, actually on Moreton Island right now. Beautiful, just incredible. Anyway, what a crazy week. Wendy is a nut. I can kind of understand how confronting it might be to actually be the head chopper offerer of a chicken, but she didn't have to do it. She didn't have to make friends with them. I think it's kind of funny how crazy she's gone, and yeah, stealing the flint. I'm not kind of really sure what kind of move that is, but it's entertaining. Oh lordy. Okay, I'm on the beach. It's 9:30 in the morning. I've got a Canadian club and my sister's skinny dipping. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. All right, bye.
Okay, slight clarification. There was no sister skinny dipping in the picture of the beach.
That was not shown.
No, definitely not. But I enjoyed hearing the sounds of the beach there and your joy at the beach, Jody.
Yeah, the waves.
Mm-hmm. Could definitely hear them. And that picture was like a panoramic. It was almost a 360.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It was awesome.
Yeah, beautiful beach.
Very beautiful.
Thanks for sharing that, Jody. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, my prediction for vote off this last week was Aubrey, so I was way off. I was really proud of her for getting the immunity idol, though. Good for her. I've never been a super big fan of her, but she certainly does have that competitive edge to her. There's no denying that. Never in a million years would I have predicted Chris as the vote off, being one of the strongest men on the Manu tribe. So that was a huge shocker for me, especially with his great performance in the reward challenge. It really was kind of surprising to me that they determined to vote him out, especially when, oh my gosh, I don't care how much anybody likes Wendy. You start talking crazy about releasing my food supply, and I'm really going to think seriously about voting you out. For me, that would have been a no-brainer. Even if I thought I could trust Wendy strategically, I mean, somebody who just randomly is going to want to release all the chickens is way too much of a liability. I mean, I would have fought to get her voted off. And then look what's going to happen next week. Those chickens are going to be gone. What a waste. My sons and I were discussing whether the chicken liberation is going to be before or after the swap. Because if it's before the swap, as a Manu tribe member, if I got onto a tribe with Wendy, I certainly would reveal that she was going to let the food supply loose. And if it's after, like if she gets swapped to the Manu tribe again and she lets those chickens go afterward, I mean, immediate vote off. Immediate vote off. We're starving out there. They're starving out there. I'm really obsessed with this like chicken liberation thing. It really is bothering me. Okay, so we've got tribe swap into 3 tribes next week. I think what I'm looking forward to most is seeing which of the 4 returning players gets on a tribe together. It's inevitable. At least 2 of them will wind up on the same tribe. And with 15 players left, if 3 of them wind up on the same tribe, that is going to be something to behold. They would have the majority. That's going to be an interesting tribe for me to watch. So we'll see if they truly make it random or if they have like a special picking basket for the returnees. I hope they don't. I hope they leave it up to fate. As far as who is the next to go, with the swap that makes it difficult, I'm looking at Aurora, maybe? Wendy, definitely. I admit I'm still trying to get a sense for who each player is. And aside from Wendy being so erratic and Aurora being so invisible, I don't really know that we have any real weak players, quote unquote. I think Aubrey's still a target, but she's got that idol, and if she's smart, and she is a smart player, I don't think she's going to go without playing that idol. I think I'm going to choose Wendy as my vote-off pick for this week, and we'll see how that goes. That's it for me. Can't wait to hear others' feedback. Till next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Totally get the choice of Wendy there.
Well, the odds are that it would be someone from Manu, because it could be, there's a possibility that they could have the majority on every tribe. There's still 9 of them.
You're talking about Kama.
Yeah, Kama.
She was focused on the returnees. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think that'll be. There was only 2 trays showing.
Right. To answer your question,
in the video,
they have a tray for the men and a tray for the women.
Yeah. So I think that's how it will go down. Just
that's
men
the way
and
they
women.
normally do it. Yeah.
But that's why I say, since there's 9, they could have.
Kama could have the advantage for sure.
Yeah.
Still could. We saw it happen last season, right?
Of course, if they had 5 on one tribe, then that wouldn't. Manu would have the majority on at least one tribe. So we don't know how the numbers will fall.
No, we don't. But Jen, there's an excellent video, extra clip on Aurora, where she's talking about how she's looking at the game and talking about how the game has impacted her so far. Highly recommend that. If you're a fan, anyone who's a fan of Aurora, check out that extra clip with her. The only thing that concerned me after I watched it, I thought, man, this is so good. This is so rich in terms of the insight into her and what she's offering, and yet it wasn't in the episode. And does that mean that's because she's not a factor, or is it just because it wasn't relevant to how they chose to map out the story arcs for the episode? So I don't think it says one way or another. I initially was bummed thinking, oh my goodness, why wouldn't you emphasize such excellent content from her? But I think it's just because it didn't fit with the story. But highly recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Jen. Yes, Aurora's been one of the ones that surprised us more than anyone else, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks again, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here. So, wow, huh? That's what you call a blindside, because Chris had no clue at all until the votes were read that he was leaving. That's what I'm talking about. So here are some of my random thoughts, since I took no notes at all during the show or while listening to Joanne and Stacy's recap. First off, does anyone else remember when Survivor would hang out things over the water and you had to take a running jump to be able to reach them? Yeah, well, it looks like they aren't doing that anymore. I mean, how close were those keys? It looked like David had his before his feet were even off the platform. Yeah. And David, I think it's time for you to walk away from the puzzles before someone notices that you just aren't performing. Also, I wish David would realize that there are 5 other people on his tribe to vote for besides Wentworth, who obviously doesn't think David is a threat at all. Do you want to know what Kelly probably thinks of David? Let's take the David test, and let's all close our eyes. Go ahead, humor me here. Okay, now picture David when he was on Millennials versus Generation X. Okay, what did you just picture? A powerhouse or some nerd with his fingers in his ears? Yeah. That's what Wentworth pictures as well. So, David, you're not on her hit list, but you're seriously going to be there when she finds out that you're all over her getting out of the game. You're not a threat, dude. Chill out. Also, we have a loose cannon named Wendy who really needs to go already. I mean, come on. And I don't think she's hamming it up for the cameras at all, because this was exactly what she was like in her Canada ET interview, which was why I picked her to go first from her tribe. But did you see how nicely that blue ankle she had matched her hair? Yeah, that was a nice touch. And let's see. Extinction Island. It's taking away from my Survivor episode. I don't want to spend time with the losers. Case closed. Now, I have to admit that Rick, or Devins, or whatever we're calling him, is turning out to be a favorite of mine, even though he isn't my USB. And I also have to say that I am completely blown away by my USB's performance, because it's not going to be any problem at all for me to switch USBs from Victoria to Rick when the merge arrives. You see, sometimes I just can't stop thinking about those possible extra points that holding on to my old USB could net me. But, well, I'm over Pippi Longstocking, just 3 episodes into this season. And you know what else concerns me? It's the fact that we're seeing and hearing more from Julie rather than Julia. And that's just wrong. I mean, come on. Oh, and Keith, well, he made the wrong choice. Just saying. And who was surprised when Aubrey found that idol after that build-up? Anyone want to raise their hand? No, I didn't think so. There's nothing more exciting than telegraphing the find to us viewers 3 minutes before it actually happens, and still forcing us to watch her search for 3 minutes. Wow, I'm so negative here, and which is actually sort of odd because I love the episode. And of course, no one has any clue as to what's going to happen next week since we're splitting tribes, so I'm going to pick Wendy again since she's setting chickens free. She's like a miniature Russell Hantz, but, well, Russell was kind of miniature in stature, or, well, come on, who am I kidding? He was without a doubt a very tiny man. So what was my point? Well, I sort of forget. Well, whatever. Oh yeah, Wendy's evil. Yeah, she's like that demon or fairy named Puck. At any rate, I can't wait until she's gone because she's taking time away from our serious players. So yeah, Puck to go, and you know what? I'm out of here. Bye now.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul. Definitely time to get rid of Puck. Yeah, chaotic evil. It's a good description of her. If she were a D&D character, that would definitely be her alignment, I think, given how she's acted so far. Totally enjoyed that. Yeah, there's an extra video where David talking about how poorly he's doing on the puzzles. And if you step back and look at it, he's playing a horrible game. He's just fortunate in terms of the majority, and he doesn't, I don't think he's realized the benefit of the fact that they don't see him as a threat at all. He thinks he is, and then he thinks he's got to take down the other threat, Wentworth. But yeah, he's just playing a really poor game so far. At least that's my impression of it.
He's, I think, more in sync with the newbies than with the returning players, other than he has more confidence than he did
it's just,
in the beginning.
It isn't enough of a difference that it actually matters.
Yeah, it's more confidence for David.
Yeah, relative.
But, yeah.
Not absolute. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So there's definitely some good extra videos worth checking out that we talked about. There's, every week Dalton Ross does a Q&A with Propes where he hits him with a few questions that are related to the episode. And he asked him the one about what would happen if someone finds the buried idol, Lauren's buried idol. Would she still would it still be hers or not? So that was really interesting. Those are kind of light and fluffy. There's not a whole lot of content there, but there definitely some interesting insight. And then Probst talks about what that could mean. He does some of the scenarios that could come out of a situation like that I thought is worth a read. So I'll definitely include a link to that in the show notes too.
I haven't read any of those this season.
As well as a link to those awesome banjo videos. I know you guys are just angling to watch too.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I mean, who's not gonna like Thunderstruck on a banjo? Come on, it's got 70 million views.
I will. I'll go.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely good.
Especially if you put a link for me.
Yes, there will be a link. I'll make it easy. You just have to go to the links.
I can do that.
Good deal. I have my new banjo section of the links for each episode.
I see. Okay.
Oh, all right. So we're going to split into 3 tribes, and definitely the new yellow tribe, right? That's what it's going to be. So we'll have the blue, green. Sorry, green. I think I said yellow earlier, but you got to kind of roll with me a little bit on that, because with the yellow and the green tribes, I happen to be red-green colorblind, and I have trouble telling the difference between those colors. Like if you had asked me what that color is for Kama, I would have said it was yellow. Green. It looks more green to me. Anyway, that's very confusing, and my color management skills certainly on display. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that tribe fares. Usually they get put in pretty poor conditions too. So they're kind of at a disadvantage environmentally, in addition to the other issues that they have. Plus, they've got to put out the extra effort to get some kind of shelter together, at least for probably the week that they'll be together as a tribe before the merge hits.
Yeah, because it will be about a week, but they usually,
or more.
We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on if they're doing 2-day or 3-day game cycles.
Right. But, the other option is there have been those who didn't do much of anything, just kind of hunkered down and went with it till they got back to another camp.
Yeah,
we didn't expend all that energy.
We did see in last week's episode, the week 2 episode rather, that they were definitely getting some rain because they had the pruny fingers and all that. But the weather tends to be a little better for this group because they go out there like 2 or 3 weeks after the season 37 group wrapped up, and so they're not as at risk for as many storms. So they might be able to do that. We've definitely seen some people go minimum from that perspective. The other thing that I just remembered in the extra videos, they said that Wendy's isolating herself, like she's sleeping off on her own.
Yes.
And so that isolation that she was doing even on day 1 with Reem and Keith, she's keeping that up and separating herself. So she's really in a hole. It'll be interesting to see how
if she does that in a new tribe.
Right, yeah. Or if somehow she's able to get a new lease on her survivor life and turn things around, because she is definitely not destined for a win the way she's tracking right now. It still looks like an engineered quit.
She says she's playing to win.
Well, yeah, I don't.
So obviously she thinks
no evidence
she can.
To that end. Yeah, her perception of the reality is obviously quite different from everyone else's.
That's why I don't think she's a fan.
No, doesn't seem like it. Although she's definitely exhibiting. This is an archetype we've seen before, as a lot of people pointed out. There are other highly erratic, I'm going to punish my tribe players that have been there in the past, and it didn't work out for them at all either. So.
Well, and I thought they were just trying to get attention and to be remembered, even if it's not in a good way.
Right. It certainly causes, when you're in the minority, it'll cause the majority that's controlling things to spend extra energy on you when you act out and exhibit those kind of behaviors. But it doesn't seem like it really improves her chances at all, whereas she could have flipped the script on all that. And Rick reached out to her right after the Ream vote, and she could have completely turned her game around and set herself up in a really good place in the majority, and yet she chose this other path, which doesn't seem like there's any reward. So the shuffle could save her for sure and help extend her life in the game. And of course, once she makes it to the merge, then she falls off everyone's radar because she's not not as long as she's not annoying or being destructive there, then she gets a break until later in the game. Interesting. Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about Wendy and her antics. Looking forward to seeing how the shuffle breaks down and then what happens from there. So we'll probably just get one challenge next week, right? They'll show up to
probably
presumed reward challenge, and then they'll get shuffled, and then we'll get to see some social dynamics as they hit the reset button on the tribes, depending on how the random draw goes, and then we'll get an immunity challenge.
And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people put Wendy just because she's an easy target.
Got to be the most obvious choice.
Or we thought she was an easy target.
Yeah, got to be the most likely choice going into this. And then you've got the returnees, especially if they end up in the minority alliance on a tribe. And you got to add Julie to that mix because her tribe for sure knows that she doesn't, she's got 8 other people that know that she doesn't seem to have a whole lot to offer other than a vote. So I'd say she's back in play too. But yeah, we could see some idols get played, right? Even next week, because Aubrey could be threatened. Lauren could end up being threatened, depending on how the numbers go in the tribe that she ends up in. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how Rick manages that. He's like a keep the doors open kind of guy, and I've always appreciated the value in that kind of a strategy. So I'm looking forward to seeing how.
Yeah, we had talked about we wanted to see how
he manages that reset that comes with a shuffle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Looking forward to it. We want to thank everybody who took time to send in your thoughts and predictions for this season. You guys did a fantastic job. We're just having a great time with the listener feedbacks again this season. So we appreciate everything you're doing and the effort it takes to get that in. Thank you so much for doing that.
And if you play JSFL, don't forget to get your picks in before the deadline on Wednesdays by 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time.
Anything else you need to add?
I don't think so.
All right.
I just am anxious to see how the tribes play out.
Yeah, looking forward to the shuffle. Have a good one.